Shout out Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Y'all, you know what's so crazy? Oh, wait. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the show. Yeah. So, what's so crazy about this episode is I'm not recording visuals. I almost want to, but I haven't used StreamYard since I moved out of my house. So that was end of September. And so then what I started doing is just recording audio on Spotify for podcasters or whatever. They don't do that anymore, and they wanted me to use Riverside or something, and it just felt like, if I don't know, just more complicated the way they do stuff and whatever. And so then I was like, let me just go back to my StreamYard. And it feels so good to be having a sense of normalcy. Y'all do not even understand how, man, this last week was rough. I just felt so drained. The last episode was late anyway, so then that's why this episode was late, because I really just last week did not even have the energy to be like, oh, let me drop an episode on time. Y'all know I'm gonna get my life back together, but y'all also know I'm not gonna like miss a week. Y'all will get content, but man, yeah, there is just so much going on in my heart and mind and my emotions. And it's really interesting because just this little thing of recording on StreamYard, something that I'm just used to doing, literally has brought joy that I didn't even know it was about to bring. I almost want to record visuals, but I don't, because y'all know how I am about things being consistent and this, that, and the other. And then also, like, trying to set up the webcam, my other monitors, and there's just a lot going on. And it's not like I have a permanent spot. Like, now where I be setting up and stuff is like, I may have to move, not like move out of this house, but I'm just saying move my stuff. And so I'm trying to just keep it as minimalistic. I don't even know if that's a word, but it might be. I feel like that's a thing, what I'm trying to say, when they like do not the most, but they do the least. Anyways, I'm trying to have it as simple as possible right now until whenever I move. And yeah. So I have been, like I told y'all, what is that noise? I know Gizmo ain't tripping like that. No, that ain't Gizmo. I don't know what that is. Okay, anyways. I told y'all last week that I got a new job or whatever. So I am, like the marketing director at my church or whatever. It has been such an interesting adjustment, being so much around so many people, like, all the time, because after going 3.5 or whatever years of like not being in an office setting, being very, even when I was working at my last job, I was working from home. And then it's like I started doing the subcontracting work or different client projects where I'm really just either by myself or by myself with maybe one other or two other people, or and even if there's like a situation where it was like a family meeting, that wasn't the norm. You know what I mean? And so the way things have been now is like I am around a lot of people all the time, and like right now nobody's home and nobody has been home for a few hours and nobody will be home for probably about a couple more hours, and it has been so rejuvenating to me. Not because I love the people that I stay with, so don't get me wrong. It literally has nothing to do with the people that I live with. It has to do with I am an introvert, and I had always said that I was an extroverted introvert because like, and I'm gonna have to re-look up what that is because I remember when I had said it, why I had said it, and maybe I just changed and I'm different as a person. But man, I'm an introvert. I may be an extroverted introvert because I love people and I do like being social and outgoing to some degree. A lot of it is like work or hobbies kind of have created a need for that or whatever. But I don't know, man. I just know it has been a trip. And then like, and it's like I really want to talk about what I really want to talk about, but then I don't because it's like I don't be knowing who listens. But just know that like I'm really sorting through um just different thoughts and emotions and feelings, and there's a lot going on just in my heart and mind, and it's been really interesting because I have really had to be very honest with myself, like have some tough conversations with myself. I've had to be very just real with myself about like what's going on in my heart and mind, and it's been really interesting. I mean, like granted, it has given me a ton of freedom, you know what I'm saying, on the other side of typically tears. Like I've noticed that when everything just feels too overwhelming to where I just really don't know what's going on and I don't really know how to process it and I don't whatever cry. Like earlier today, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna just feel these feelings that I'm feeling, and I'm not even gonna really try to like process through them all like that or figure out what's going on. I'm just gonna cry. And it's funny because I told a friend of mine the other day, actually yesterday, I was just kind of telling him some like frustrations or just whatever that I was having. And he was like, I forget what he said, and I don't feel like looking through our text messages, but I was like, well, tonight I'm just gonna cry, and then tomorrow I'll try to be more level headed about it. Well, I didn't get that good cry last night because I ended up just falling asleep, but I got it today after church. And so now that I got a good cry, now is the time to be more level headed and start trying to like make plans or uh and it's not even always about making, not everything is related to making plans, and some stuff I didn't even talk to him about. But there's just a lot like, yeah, it is a time to be alive. There's just so many things like even with my new job, it's really interesting because there's just so much I'm having to learn. And it's not even really necessarily about the marketing aspect of things, although there's definitely room for growth with that, especially because there's like I wasn't really all off into that like that when I just got focused on subcontracting because I really didn't need to. I really kind of like stopped promoting my company and stuff like that. And so I just wasn't really using those skills, but there's definitely like opportunities for me to grow and learn stuff. I'm going to this um workshop or class or something next week so I can kind of grow in like creative direction, because one of the things that's super interesting is I am someone who definitely will have a vision in mind when I create my own like all the stuff I've created, even when I used to make like random TikTok videos that I would call my chaos series, which I really want to get back to that because it's just fun making just creating content that's just for the sake of the creative process and like having a vision and having it come to life or whatever, and being able to like have something be just an idea and then like see the finished product. Like I've said many times on here, I am such a fan of the creative process. However, it's really interesting being like having that be my job and like having to have a vision for someone else and something else really actually that's greater than me, especially when you factor in the fact that like it's ministry. So like I'm the marketing director at my church. You know what I mean? Now, no one should be surprised who's been listening because I was doing project management with the creative team and this, that, and the other. Before that, I was the admin. So I like nobody should be surprised. But at the same time, it's really interesting. And it's really cool. Like we just had this video that we recorded or that it was shown today at church or whatever. And when we recorded it, it's so dope because there was this thing like there were questions that we had, but there was a question I just had. Like we had three different couples. We asked them different questions that we already had in mind, but then there was this couple that had been married. I didn't know how long they had been married. They had been married longer though than the other two couples. And so I asked, I was like, well, this isn't a part of it, but I'm just curious, how long have y'all been married? And then their answer was just really good. And so that's actually did end up being part of the video, which is hilarious because I literally just was curious because I've known them for a long time, you know, as I've been at this church or whatever. And so just cool stuff like that. But like, it's not like I had a vision for that. That's just something that it just happened, and it was kind of dope that it got to be a part of the video or whatever. But like, man, it is really really interesting just yeah having to um figure out rhythms too. And we know that's something I talk about a lot on here. Like I am someone who needs structure and rhythms, and just like it just helps me to plan and prioritize things, and like yeah, freedom within those rhythms, but definitely having like rhythms in place. And like this past week or two, I have felt so just scattered and just like trying to create rhythms, trying to figure things out, like trying to even realize because I'm someone who I've always like prioritized by deadlines. And I was talking to my friend slash coworker last, I don't know, yesterday, day before, I don't know. Um, I was talking to him one of these days and I was telling him how I'm realizing that like prioritizing by deadline, I can't do that anymore because some of this stuff, like when it's given to me or presented to me or whatever, it all seems urgent, but not everything is urgent. So now I'm having to learn how to like I'm gonna have to talk to them about having like tiers of hey, when you say hey, we need this done or whatever, what tier of priority is this? So I can know, is this something I need to do like right away? Or is this something that you want it done, but the other stuff is like more of a priority? And it's really just learning that. And I will say though, there has been more communication, I think, as people are learning like how I work or whatever, like, hey, this takes priority over whatever. Okay, bet. Tell me that because then that will take priority. You know what I mean? So it's just been really, really interesting, and being around creatives all the time. Like I've been around all these people all the time, but it's just a different mindset when it's like this is work. You know what I mean? Like when I'm at church on Sundays, I'm at work, regardless of what I'm doing, regardless of whatever. And it's such a wild thing because like I've gone to this church for almost 11 years and served in different, capacities, over those 11 years. And then even like with the creative team, especially since the summer, that's when I started serving on like broadcast cams and the content team, and now I'm in the choir. So like, on Christmas Eve, that was the first time, and then today, at the time of this recording, shout out to 12 Cal, but we did whatever again, and so it's just really really interesting all the dope things I get to do. But then at the same time, I have my actual stuff related to my job, which is like project management and marketing. So it's just been it's been a really interesting, I'd say, month because my fourth week I completed last week, and it's been yeah, it's been really really interesting. And then there's just a lot of a lot of stuff just in my heart and my mind that I'm just kind of like sorting through and just trying to. And it's so, man, I'm not going to get all off into it, but I will say this, and this is actually going to be a shorter episode. Well, we'll see, cuz we know how I do. But I'm going to say this: go at your pace, right? Don't let people rush you into doing things at the pace that they feel you should do it, and or jumping into things when they feel like you should jump into stuff. And I'm not going to tell you what this is related to literally at all, but I will just say that there's this there's just some stuff I've been literally for months sorting through. And the few people that I talked to about it, if I was to do things the way at their pace, like when you rush, you miss stuff. And I'm so grateful that I've come to the place of like being super prayerful about pretty much all decisions in my life at this point, just because it's like it's not about like getting there, wherever there is. It's not just about meeting and arriving at your destination. I've said many times, maybe not on this show, but in the content that I've done for my company, that the journey to get there, wherever there is what prepares you to be able to wisely steward whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, for me, can't even. I'll just say, for me, this has been a definitely a season of like development and growth and healing and learning how to be more vulnerable. Um, super super grateful, and I said this like a couple weeks ago or something, for just the safe spaces that I have to just talk freely about, man, just be real and raw and whatever. Like, that's so important because sometimes I just need to just say stuff. And I mean, it's not, and like, yeah, sometimes I just need to be able to say stuff without like, just like say stuff without like, um, I don't know, counsel or okay, I'm not a violent person at all. Okay, I'm not. I'm really not. And, you know, sometimes when I'm angry, though, I may say, I'm about to do this, that, and the other. I'm not about to do none of that. You know what I mean? But the people that you could be free enough to just say some wild stuff and them just laugh and not like really be concerned and know you well enough to know, okay, she's just talking. Sometimes it just feels good to say stuff that I know I'm not even about to do. If that may not make sense to you, and that's okay, because that's why you ain't my safe space. And that's why whoever I can do that with or whatever, shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, don't let people rush you, because people will really feel like, oh, you need to hurry up in this, and I can't wait till this, and whoopty whoopty woo, and you ain't even ready for none of what they trying to rush you for. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, one day I'll fill y'all in on what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Not today though, and probably not next week. But who knows? Because the way life be lifing, I'm trying to tell you, last week was the most interesting week I've had. And it's not in a bad way. Like, it's just, it is a very, very, very interesting season right now. And there are a lot of very interesting things happening in my life, like good things. So I'm not saying necessarily there's bad things happening, but at the same time, even with good things, there's still growth and development that needs to happen to be able to sustain it. Or sometimes there's healing that needs to happen so that you sustain it, so that you not bring in fears and insecurities that have nothing to do with what's going on right now into the circumstance to cause you to fumble it, I guess, is the best way I could think of saying that, right? So it's been a very, very, very interesting season. But as always, I am trying to be healthy mentally, emotionally, super proud of myself, because my goal is to, for sure, make 3 workouts, but really 4, because we get a 4th one free because there's a staff workout. So like that doesn't count against how many classes or whatever. I love that we have shifted the way we are doing this specific meeting to where, like, several of us are gonna, on Mondays and Tuesdays, like, we've pushed back this morning meeting and we're gonna go to the gym together. And so, honestly, being at the same gym as a lot of the people that I work with really has helped me to be consistent with going, especially right now where I don't have a vehicle. Which, shout out. Y'all know I don't even like saying names of people on here, but man, shout out, because there's been, yeah. So shout out. But yeah, I get rides even to the gym by going when other people are going. And if I wasn't at the same gym as them, it'd be a little different, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it's been a really, really, really interesting season. But steadily focused on trying to just be healthy in all the ways that I need to be healthy. And then, trying to incorporate fun back into my life. Like, I have fun with the things that I do, but I realize how much and how heavily focused my life has been on like work or heavy stuff with all the stuff that I've gone through with just life, you know what I mean? And so I'm really trying to, figure out what that looks like, because yeah, you know what I mean? I don't even really know, it's weird being, I mean, we're not even 6 months into me not living with my kids, and it's like it's become more normal, I guess. It'll be really interesting once I move into my own place, because then I'll actually like be living by myself, and I've literally never done that. But I'm excited because, like, who am I? That sounds dramatic, but most of my adult life, actually all my adult life, has been like raising kids and stuff like that. So like, to be at a place where it's like I really only have to, for real, think about me, like, doesn't mean I don't think about my kids or my grandson or whatever. That's not true at all. But it's like the day to day, I mean, they're all grown doing their thing, so that's different. So then it's like, well, who am I? And that's what I'm trying to figure out, you know what I mean? So that is all I have for y'all today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you're taking care of yourself mentally and emotionally and spiritually and physically. And you got to take care of yourself so you can be healthy in your relationships. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for